So welcome again. I'm going to change language. This is the second part of the workshop. We are moving to Italy and France now. I'm very happy to have with me Silvio Profanter and Sabina Scola from the Office of Statistics and Time Policies at the Municipality of Bolzano, and Joanna Levy, Project Manager of Innovation and Time Policies at Strasbourg City Council. Welcome, and thanks for being here through all the day, because it's a packed day of activities today. This second workshop focuses on how to organize a local time office. I think that we heard, let's say, the Catalan approach to it, but definitely both Italy and France were pioneers on time policies and actually legislated and started to talk about it very early on, I would say the 90s, and then on 2000, when several laws and reports on the Thème de Ville in France and Tempi della Città in Italy were conceptualized and thought about. And I think that in many ways it was an inspiration for other countries and cities to carry on as well time policies. So I mentioned these concepts because they were the ones that at some point suggested the idea of creating these time offices within the municipality that could organize, that could manage, coordinate. We talk about coordination a lot because this is what it takes, right, to implement time policies. So I think it's great that we can have you here as cities that since 2000, since the 90s when this started to happen, have maintained this push, have maintained this idea and launch different projects over the years, because I think that we can talk about different projects in both our cities that tackle different aspects of time policies and maintain this continuity over time on time policies in the municipality, so that we can see, let's say, a thread that links them all. And I think that it's very interesting that you are in the statistics office as well, because you are able to measure that, which we talked in the morning about that, but it's a very important aspect of this. So, yeah, I think I want to hear you talk, so I don't want to speak too much, just to put a bit of context that we have here France and Italy, because they were pioneers, especially Strasbourg and Bolzano have been able to maintain this continuity. And what we want to explore today is what is a time office, how it organizes, what does it do, and what are the opportunities, because we talk in the morning about we are in the moment of opportunity. So what are the opportunities, but also the challenges that this historical perspective gives you, which I think are very interesting and that can serve as an inspiration for the municipalities following us today. So I will try to give more time for questions in this second workshop. So I will ask you to be brief, and I will stop speaking now and give you the word to the municipality of Bolzano first.
So thank you very much, Arianna, for the invitation to this workshop. And you asked me to tell about the time policies, how they are implemented in our administration. So from our experience, the implementation for time policies in a public administration in Italy requires a few prerequisites. First of all, a national, regional, or a municipal regulatory framework. Then an organization, a structure within the administration. The third prerequisite is specific competences at the political and also on the technical level, and training, continuous and up-to-date training, both at the political and also at the technical level. So I want to explain it better. The time policies in Italy were regulated in the year 2000 by a law, the Law 53. And this law establishes the coordination of the timetables in the municipalities, the fundings by the regions, and the staff training. So that's the basic. Only then in 2013, the province of Bolzano implemented a provincial law, the law number 8. And this law defines the objectives and the areas of intervention of the time policies in our province. Then a few months ago, in March 2021, the province also approved implementing regulation that defines the guidelines and the measures for the coordination and the planning of time policies at the provincial, at the district, and also at the municipal level. Not only for cities, but also for small municipalities. On the other side, our municipality worked more than 30 years about time policies. So during these times, we realized 2 time and schedule plans of the city. One in 1994 and the second one in 2005. So we have, at the 3 levels, we have laws or regulamentations that defines the guidelines for us. The second important requirement is for us that there's an office dedicated in the administration. Because it's very important that there's a continuity during the time, also if the political level changes or the orientation. So in Bolzano, when we started with time policies, in 1993, there was no office, but in 1996, there was introduced this office in the staff plan, and so we have till 1996 we have a continuity. In the year 2001, the administration decided to join the time office to the statistic office. So we have 2 competences. They sound different, but they are very complementary for realized projects. So after then Sabina tells you about something about that. The next requirement is the competences at the political level and the competence of the city time department. They should be very connected among the singular competences, and they have a weight in the city council. In the past years, the Statistics and Time Office was located in the city planning department. So we realized a lot of projects in the urban regeneration and in a mobility sector. Later on, the office was incorporated in the school department, so we realized a lot of projects in work-life balance and school schedules. Today, our office is located in the Department for Digitalization, Innovation, Staff and Participation. So now we work on online services to improve the access to the services and the use of it. And we work about age management for our colleagues. At least, it's very important to guarantee continuous training of the technical and also of the political people. So the Time Use Week we are here. It's a very good moment for us to change our experiences and to discuss with others about best practices and learn a lot from others. So, please.
Temporal policies have several areas of intervention because the role of temporal policies is to make the city work. What does work out well mean? It means to supervise, to build projects, and to step in to grant the accessibility of services to everybody. Students, children, senior citizens, tourists, workers. It means to be involved in the relationship between individual, society, environment. The functioning of a town doesn't work naturally or automatically. There must be an intervention from outside, from the municipality, or from local authorities to grant a harmonic development and, most of all, equality of access to services. The municipality of Bolzano believed for many years and still believes in the time policies. Contexts of intervention are present in all the public administration. The team of the Office for Statistics and Urban Time Policies works with every branch of the local government: schools, city planning, environment, mobility, social policies, young people policies. But most of all, it works with the citizens, which are the stakeholders. The same method has been adopted in every project by the urban time policies. We always start from a data collection, a statistical study to take a photo of the situation. The method we apply is that of participatory public action with co-planning tables, where all stakeholders are involved and together are built both problems and solutions. The approach has always been pragmatic, working on pilot projects and choosing the most favorable cases and places for action. We always use maps in order to visualize the area. Activities are always shared with politicians. The main critical points we have found in this area: the collaboration between the different departments. It is only possible to make time policies if the political side is prepared and understands the strength of these policies. In fact, the areas of intervention concern different departments, and therefore the City Time Office must be able to have good collaboration with other sectors of the administration. Second, time policies projects are long process. The results are visible in the long term. That is why it is very important to keep interest alive and to constantly motivate participation. The strengths are equally varied. When there is good collaboration between the various sectors, the impact of the projects has a great impact on the city. The participation of interest groups leads to shared results. After an initial phase in which there may be tensions, the process becomes rich in new elements and success is almost always certain, we hope.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you a lot for this introduction to the way you work. I think it's interesting, this idea of establishing continuity, of the importance of location as well, of the office and the coordinator of time policies, and the participatory approach, which I think it's something that already came up before, but it's the key, I think, for success of these time policies. So I will give the word to Joanna. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. So I'm talking on the behalf of the city of Strasbourg, which is also a member of Tempo Territorial Network. So the Time Office in Strasbourg was created in 2008, which was not the first one. The first Time Offices are in Rennes and in Lyon in 2002. And in 2004, The Tempo Territorial Network was born, and the idea was to make an association within research members and municipalities. So in France, we have the luck to rely on a strong network from different cities and research. And 2 years ago, we decided to make, like each year we are doing annual events, and we decided to invite European partners and to do it on the right to time. And the idea was to say, how is the right to time implement in the different cities across Europe? And so we had the luck to collect all initiatives. So I will take Strasbourg as an example of how to implement Time Office, but I will also do it in comparison with other cities. So let's start in Strasbourg. So we have an administration merged between competencies of the city and the agglomeration, about 500,000 inhabitants and administration of 7,000 agents. Strasbourg is also the seat of the European institution. So in 2008, it was a strong political will. During the election campaign, the municipal team wanted to adapt the city rhythm and the schedule of the public services to the new rhythm of the inhabitants. The idea also was to favor an approach that take the expression of the inhabitants and to implement some innovative local solutions. So, although, as I already said, in Strasbourg, it began with an inspiration. So we first take part on Les Temporels in 2009, and then we convinced the administration to open a Time Office. So we received a letter mission, and then we became a member of Tempo Territorial. And after a huge work started, the idea was to make the sensibilization of all the departments about what is a time policy, and then to work also on the methodology and the objectives, and to have a first draft to come by some very strategical subjects or projects, and to try to implement, to ask what kind of action we can implement, and then the implementation phase. To briefly, what Bolzano also said, there is no magical recipe to apply to organize a Time Office. There is many different way. One important thing is each territory has its own specificity, like the context, the partnerships, the dynamics operating inside the territory, the political context, and of course the administrative culture. The temporal policies are not just another things. It's a mission or an office which is here to help decision making and to design some innovative public policies based on the use of the services and the public spaces, which need to follow the evolution of the society. So it's also a way to modernize the administration. Another important thing that is the cross-cutting mission. So it must work with a lot of different departments inside the municipality. And the time offices are generally a very small teams, working in project methods, working with strategical working groups, and also so with a small budget. But we rely on the skills, the expertise, and the budget on the different departments. The budget of the Time Office is often spent for studies, for surveys, or for communication as dissemination. When we talk about a small team, it's 1 or 2 persons, depending of the territories, who like try to initiate, to lead, to pilots, and to implement projects. But it's also a way to make cultural changes in the administration, and it's also a way to spread new way of working. And for example, in Strasbourg, the Time Office is also the coordinator of the Public Innovation Laboratory, as we try to spend culture of the users and the modernization of the administration. The importance of the position of the Time Office in the organization chart is also very important. In the French cities, each city has its own strategy. We can have Time Office seen as a resource linked with the Department of Participation, of Environmental, of the Youth, so a lot of different directorates. The most important things that it must be a strategic mission, and it must intervene upstream of decisions. It's aimed to inform public policies and not to repair gaps. It means that it has to be attached to someone who has a global vision of the project, of the administration, and who can put the Time Office in the good step on the public policies. For us, it's always we are always very proud when departments they took our methods or they took our project to implement, and it's really the goals of the Time Office. It's really to spread the culture and to spread the methodologies. And so, if I have to summarize, so Time Office are mostly seen as a research and development function inside the municipality, which make the promotion of stimulating innovative projects by mobilizing methodology from the social sciences based on the use, and the proper integration depends on a strong political support and a high degree of transversality to ensure the best possible integration of public policies.
Thank you very much, Joanna. I think it's very interesting to have both your presentations together because it highlights some of the common issues you encounter, such as the need of coordination. I have the feeling that you need a really good project manager to be in a Time Office, right? A person that knows how to talk to others, how to convince, how to negotiate. So this function. It's also interesting because you talk about the need for this regulatory framework that gave you the legitimacy to start the project, right? And instead, Joanna talked a lot about the network as a way to convince the municipality that this project was legitimate. So I think that we can see already that we have different sources of legitimacy to start a Time Office, let's say, which I think is very interesting, different approaches. Also the need to adapt to each municipality. And you mentioned you moved through several locations. You also say that within France, we see different locations of this Time Office. And I think that at the end, the location matters because it will guide the type of projects you do. But I give your message that the strategic view, it's also that wherever you are in this strategic position where you can influence decisions and start or coordinate or push for projects. I don't know how to tell this. So I will now open the floor for questions. I see already one here in the front. We have, I think, 10 minutes for questions, and we will be on time, so we are good.
Thank you very much. Very inspiring experiences. And I have 2 questions for both cities. The first one is related to data, time use data. What's the relation that you have with time use data? Do you create them? do you have access to time use data from this local perspective in your cities, yeah? And the second one, what would be the most experience, policy, time policy that you are most proud of and that you have recently put in place, if you want to share it with us? Thank you.
So, Bolzano or Silvia or
Okay.
Camilla?
You told me, you asked me to talk about the time use data. So in most cases we collect them. We have a project, we have a problem to solve. So we focus on the problem and collect the data. We try to use also databases that are in use in the administration or in other administrations. But it's very difficult to connect them because they have different keys to join the databases. So for us, it's always better to collect them instantly. So, when it's necessary, so we collect them.
With research, for
Studies,
example,
researches. Yes.
about time of students, the time of students, or
We work very good with the universities, the University of Bolzano, the Politecnico of Milan. So we try to create a network also between the researchers if we need some data.
For us, we have two different ways. We have surveys very linked with public policies. For example, we are dealing with the observatory of the telework. So we are asking the people how the teleworkers and the managers how is it with the process, and we also observe the statistics that we can found, but with your own functionment. And after we also try to make some immersions and some interview, and also to try to understand the point of view of the stakeholders, so more quality surveys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was a second question about the time policy. You are more
just
proud
a
of.
Voilà.
facciamo quella degli studenti.
The most important project for us, we realized, was maybe the project with the students, higher schools, where first we made a huge survey to know how the students spend their time during the day, during the week. And then we had a lot of groups of discussions with the students, with the parents, with the teachers, with the directors of the schools, to get out the most critical points of their organizing, the organization of their days. Then there was developed a few projects. One was the mobility. There was a discussion with the public transport, so to get better access to a certain school area. Then we found out that also the lunch time is very critical, because the students have to go to school also in the afternoon. So where do they go to eat something? Yes, they had not only pizza, but something more sustainable. So we found an area where we can offer lunch for the students for a good price. So then we have to We have now to project on the free time, because the whole school times are concentrated on 5 times, not on 6 times, so on 6 days, from Monday to Friday. But the free time, the music, sport, and is also concentrated on these 5 days. So you have to work with the organizations, with the sport organizations, with the cultural organizations to spread them on 6 times or 7 days, not only on these 5 days, because it's too heavy for the students now to go to school, to eat, and then do homework, and also make music, sports, and so on.
Thank you for this experience. Very interesting. John, I don't know.
I will quickly mention 3 initiatives dealing with working conditions. The first one was the implementation of the teleworking until in 2013. So Strasbourg was one of the first municipality to implement teleworking for the agents. So it was a big success for the time office. The second one was we were thinking the schedule of the cleaning ladies. The idea was to make them work during the working hours and not early the morning and late the afternoon. And the third project is the project we are developing now, is conciergerie services. So services to the agents at the working place, and also for the inhabitants in some neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So I think we have time for one more question. If there's someone that wants to ask, I don't know if online there's any question. No? If not, I will ask, no problems. So I will go, I think, back to one of the first things you said that was about training, because it's something that has appeared in several places, and maybe we haven't talked enough about it. But I just wanted to ask, what is the training about specifically? So what are the skills you think we need to train? If it's just knowledge about the time policies, or there are specifically skills that we should be promoting if we are, let's say, planning to have public servants working on time policies?
Yes, I think that we have to put the attention on the participatory method. So how to create networks among in the administration and between the citizens. Another skill is for me also the reading and understanding data. So I'm a mathematic, so for me it's important to read the data and have an idea how the city works, how the day works, how the week works, and how the citizens or the city user moves within a defined area.
Or the collaboration between different organizations. This is a topic. How can I make a collaboration between all? This is a problem.
Definitely, this is something
Yes.
that has been coming up in all the talks, for sure. John, I don't know if you...
I would say agility, creativity, patience, yes, a lot, and also human competencies, like intercultural, because we always talk with very technical services, and also how to animate some working groups.
Yeah.
And so the coordination, animation, communication, and also the way of collecting data and to analyze data.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? last chance. Okay, so I think that we will leave it here. Thank you very much for being with
Thank you.
us and sharing. I think they deserve a round of applause. And we'll be back at 3 for more activities and sharing. Thank you very much.